freestyle action at 128 pounds. Terry Brands in the red going against Chris Bollin. Bollin always near the top, never has grabbed the gold ring. Terry Brands, Jeff Blatnick, quite the opposite story.
Well, he's a two-time world champion, and when going for the Olympic berth in '96, perhaps the greatest series of wrestling ever, Terry Brands and Kendall Cross met, and it would be Cross who would eventually knock off the two-time world champion. 93 and 95, he won them both, and Kendall Cross would go on and win an Olympic championship, and I'm sure Terry saw himself up on that stand as well and had a burning desire to get back out here and reestablish himself.
Brands in the red on the left of your screen, coming off shoulder surgery, and at the recent NCAA championships, he wouldn't even allow you to pat him on the back or pat him on the shoulder, much less get him wrestling, and here he is going for the national title again.
You're right, it was only a month and a half ago, but he seems ready to go here. He's dominating the field, gets another takedown on Bollin, and I'm sure also seeing his brother Tom win the Olympic championship is also a big motivating force in his life right now, too, to reestablish, get back to the top in the world. And a two-point gut wrench.
4-0 now for Terry Brands, a very emotional wrestler he is, but when he keeps it in check, he can certainly channel it and score points in quick fashion. A two-time NCAA champion.
And he is just taking it to Bollin. Bollin can't even keep on his feet now with Brands. Brands snapping him around, taking his balance away each time. And despite it not being a clean technique, it's certainly very, very effective.
Certainly using that Iowa method of sprinting back to the center of the mat every time he gets out of bounds. Another point, 6-0.
And just watch his feet. He doesn't walk backwards. He always moves forward. And really that defines Iowa's style more than any. That's not to say other wrestlers don't do it, but it's certainly a characteristic of almost every Iowa wrestler.
And as one of the coaches of the Iowa team, he certainly has that well ingrained. He apparently caught a headbutt perhaps on his chin from Bollin, and he's got a slight cut, does Terry Brands, just under his chin, and so they're going to check on that as he leads 6-0 in this national championship match at 128 pounds. Back to action, 3 minutes and 32 seconds to go.
Ooh, that looked like a headbutt. That looked like a pretty darn good headbutt by Bollin in the Brands head. And the two want to go right at each other. A lot of times those aren't intentional. It's just when you flurry so hard like that. Bollin's, unfortunately, is constantly trying to catch his balance and bring his head back up to turn and face, and the two rammed.
Well, the referee is concerned about Brands' cut under his chin, and Bollin, meanwhile, gets an opportunity not only to get a breather, which is much needed.
I'm sure Brands doesn't want him to take that time. He's the kind of person that once you turn him off, he doesn't, or turn him on, he doesn't want to turn off until he gets his arms raised.
Well, they think they have stopped the bleeding, and without the bandages, it has to survive another minute 40. Terry Brands in the lead over Chris Bollin at 128 pounds in the freestyle division.
Perhaps the one thing that Terry Brands will never have another opportunity at is Kendall Cross, because Kendall has retired after his Olympic championship.
And I'm sure Terry Brands would have loved another shot at Kendall Cross.
He was actually competed in the World Cup. Kendall did.
Kendall Cross did. He won a World Cup championship
that was his last match. So
on his home mat at Oklahoma State.
That's right, and that's when he announced his retirement. And when you talk about one of the things that made that series so great was you're talking Iowa against Oklahoma as well, and you know that brings all kinds of bad blood.
Well, you've got that here too. Yeah, you've got Iowa, Terry Brands from Iowa, and Chris Bollin lives in Norman, Oklahoma.
So there's a little bit of that here. But
certainly, that's the University of Oklahoma, not Oklahoma State, which is in Stillwater. Under a minute to go, and Terry Brands has held on to his 7-point lead over Chris Bollin.
Masterful job thus far. Bollin never really even able to start anything in terms of offense. Brands controlling almost all of it. Brands doesn't need a referee. He just wants to keep wrestling.
Keep on going. They have to separate them just for a second to get the clock started, and they have, and now we are down to just 30 seconds to go. And Terry Brands always moving forward, never letting an opponent get the upper hand. So a caution point has been assessed against Bollin and to Terry Brands. He now leads 8-0.
And with 28 seconds left, that should be a caution because of the false
Another
start.
point.
Yeah, that could be another point.
It is 9-0 now. A false start for Chris Bollin.
And I'll tell you, if he gets another caution, he's DQ'd.
Absolutely. Well,
1 point also gives him a
10-0
technical superiority, and he's looking to do it with a gut wrench right now.
15 seconds to go.
And, oh, couldn't quite get the bite.
You'd rather probably have the 10-0 win, but he's going to take it any way he can get it, Terry Brands. 6 seconds to go now as they go up top. And there you see his style, never, ever stop.
Finishes with a shot.
And there it is, Terry Brands at 128 points. What a perfect exhibition of his style of wrestling coming through despite the medical problem with the cut 9-0. We'll come back to Orlando in just a moment. Stay with us on The Dew.